Okay, let me also join Gautam Mukherjee now onto the broadcast. Gautam Mukherjee, of course, as far as you're concerned, these are, of course, the initial reports coming in of about 3 to 4 people dying in Myanmar. We're learning of about 1 to 3 casualties in Thailand as well. Are you fearful that this number could rise?
I don't think so. The magnitude of the earthquake was big, as other panelists have pointed out. There've been aftershocks, but considering everything, it has been quite minimal. There does not seem to be any threat of a tsunami, so the worst is over. The fact that you're seeing a lot of earthquakes of late is something to do with the geological upheavals in the region, the fault lines, and the frequent occurrence. We had one in India not so long ago, and now in Myanmar, which has also impacted Thailand. Uday.
Okay. Also, as far as, of course, now Sharat Kohli, you're concerned, what could be the impact economically of this earthquake, on Myanmar and Thailand, looking at the severity and the damage to property and life?
Well, if we look at the two countries, Uday, Myanmar, of course, has been quite disturbed, ruled by the Janta. Thailand depends a lot on agriculture and tourism and some of the other sectors. I think the impact is going to be quite severe vis-a-vis the economic aspect, because the tourism is going to be affected at least for some time. I think tourists would decide to keep away. Already there must be chaos amongst the tourists who are already there. I mean, Thailand gets tourists all around the year. There is no particular season, it keeps getting tourists all the time. And I think for some time, tourists may like to keep away. And then the damage to infrastructure, I think that will be very, very impactful as far as the economics is concerned, because, damage like one of the 90-storied, government building near the Chatuchak. I've been to Chatuchak market area a lot of times. So that building coming down, I think infrastructure falling, and I think it's a bit early to speak on the casualties as well, Uday, because as the government comes to know about the rubble here and there, and as it tries to reach here and there, I think we would know if there are any more casualties. I think it's because right now the situation is quite chaotic, and I think they're just trying to grab whatever is in hand, and people are trying to run for cover here and there. But I think once the magnitude of the damage is assessed, I'm sure there's going to be damage more. And then another economic aspect which such magnitude of earthquake can cause, Uday, is on the insurance companies, because when everything is insured, from building to lives to vehicles to business places, the insurance companies, they tend to collapse under pressure. Everything gets insured these days. So I think insurance company, infrastructure, tourism, supply chain disruptions also happen, Uday. And India has already, announced its support, that India is willing to help its neighbors if the need be, in terms of basic food supplies, in terms of necessities, in terms of medicine, in terms of every help that is required. So supply chain disruptions are normal in such a case, because, you're not able to transport goods to where they are needed. The stores get damaged, the factories get damaged. The transport vehicles, they get damaged, the roads get damaged. So I think supply chain disruptions, insurance, infrastructure, overall tourism industry, I think that gets impacted. So it sets back the country by many, many years, depending on the extent of damage. But you tend to move back. I mean, instead of progressing, you lose on whatever you have gained, and so it's very devastating. My heart reaches out to the families and people who probably lost their belongings or lost their loved ones if the casualties are more. But I think overall, a very grim situation. One of the most severe earthquakes I've heard of, 7.7, is a massive, massive earthquake. We can only feel it, as to how it must be. You can literally be shaking like anything, and the strongest of structures can come down. And of course, thankfully, because it was 10 kilometers under the surface. Otherwise, the risk of tsunami, considering that Thailand has a coastal area, could have been very, very severe. So a very, very sad situation, and I hope, wish and pray that the damage is minimal and so are the casualties, Uday.
All right, let me in fact quickly